Hey everyone, it's Clock1637, and I'm here with some Path of Exile 2 improvement news. Um, I basically didn't want to get at this too early and start talking about a lot of negative things because obviously this game is still very much in early access, and that's something we really need to start expecting more. That the game has to start from, I believe at least, and it seems like GGG is in this position too, where it has to start very humble. And it's a lot harder to take away something, but a lot easier to say, okay, well, we overshot, and here's a little something extra because we don't feel like it's easy enough to get. And that's really the spirit of this patch. Can't see my hands. There we go. That's really the spirit of this patch and really what they're going for. So there's a lot of really good improvements. Um, we'll go over them in just a bit, but like I said, really the spirit of it is that some things were over or under tuned, and some things just should be a little more exciting. So to start off, we're going to go with the end game rewards. I'll just read off some of these to make it a little easier. We're setting up the frequency of encounters and rewards for Path of Exile 2. When setting up the frequency and encounters and rewards for Path of Exile 2, we decided how many maps players would have to do in order to get them. After extensive playtesting, we now believe we overshot this pretty substantially. In 0.020G, pardon me, we improved the baseline experience of getting rewards from monsters and chests, but we still feel you don't get enough of those exciting spike moments when something very powerful or valuable drops. Yes, I do believe this was missing. There actually are some very cool items to find, but you want to refine them because they're incredibly rare. One of the major focuses of 0.2.1 is making those chase items more common, but also adding more chase items to find. And I did actually notice this a lot, where I would play for some amount of time, and a lot of the drops were kind of a nothing burger, I would say. Nothing really spiked my attention. There was some drops, and there was very few in the 300 hours that I've played, which may not sound like much, but nothing like I said that would say, "Oh, hey, this is awesome." Obviously, because a lot of these things were just not added yet over time. So I've been kind of waiting to see what happens and just making sure that there's something a little, you know, better to come back to, I guess is the way to put it. So, on that sort of focus of adding more chase items, they talk about unique specifically, um, in terms of adding more of them and more chase items. So that's what this section covers. And then with socketables, they talk about adding more runes, soul cores, and 7 new talismans, which should cover a full spectrum from being powerful to insane, but rare to find. And that should increase the loot pool chances, because really what you want to do in a game like this is roll the loot, you know, pull the lever and gamble as many times as you can in order to have like a good chance at something. And the rest is a lot of improvements over ritual, making rare omens more common, corrupted essences being a bit more common, not a bit more common, 6 times, from using Vol Orbs, putting more uniques on Rogue Exiles, improvements to logbooks, which you can read. I'll leave the link in the description. Um, improvements to logbooks, improvements to the end game trial of Secamus, and then other quality of life and uh, user experience changes. But there is like a worthy point up here in the end game content and variety improvements. A second main focus is that we're going to increase the variety of running end game maps. Right now, did you know that if you were to generate 400,000 maps, that 150,000 of them would be hidden grotto, which is a crazy number. That's almost half. Are certainly sick of running that area and finding the same boss on repeat. The intention here is to normalize the frequency that different maps and thus boss fights appear in the atlas. This will make things feel far less repetitive when playing the endgame, especially for many hours. Additionally, and that's not in the script, Citadel spawning has now been adjusted. Whenever a Citadel is generated on the Atlas, it also ensures that it generates the other two Citadel types near it, which is pretty massive. Like a lot of times you would find one and then like nothing of the others. And this will prevent cases where you have been seeing players who would, due to the whims of random number generation, get many of the same citadel one after another and never be able to fight the Arbiter of Ash, especially when not in a trade league. So that's pretty major. So they go through some extra detail about that. But anyway, a lot to be excited about. Oh, grab the wrong thing. A lot to be excited about. We're just going to move to the other side and just scroll up again. Make sure this is visible. Now, give it another pass. Anyway, like I said, very good things coming even mid league, and I'm really glad that at least there's many more patches coming, which is I think what we should have expected from the beginning out of an early access game. Anyway, thanks for watching this quick video. Sorry for the bit of messiness, but yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.